Truly, it's an honor and a privilege to stand before you today at this historical event for our community and to honor the mayor of Waterloo, Iowa. Amen. Can't hear? Okay. Can you hear me now? It's an honor and privilege to be here today to welcome you to Cunningham Elementary School for this historical event. Come on, I just need a little enthusiasm, okay? Woo! My. Woo! I'm just trying to contain myself and be very professional, but I am so excited. We look forward to this day and this time in our community, and it means a lot. Right now, I'd like to introduce to you our Superintendent of Waterloo Schools, Dr. Jane Lindeman.
It's also my privilege to welcome everybody here today. I think that kids, I'm so excited for you to be here because this is really a significant event. And the fact that the mayor is here, he could have chosen many places to give his State of the City address, but he chose Waterloo Schools, and specifically, he chose Dr. Walter Cunningham School for Excellence. And I think there probably are quite a few reasons why he did that, but first of all, I want to talk about the fact that he chose Dr. Walter Cunningham, the school that is named in his honor. He was an African American who left a legacy. He was an educational leader who left a legacy in Waterloo. And I think that Mayor Hart is here to honor that. He is the first African American mayor of Waterloo. Huge event. His children go to the school, so what a better way to honor them. And we are so happy that he is here, so let's give him a welcome. Actually, I think somebody else is going to introduce him, so I'm going to introduce his son to introduce the mayor. Come on up.
Good morning, Cunningham. Good morning. My name is Quentin Michael Harden. I am here to introduce a special guest. This guest helps the community. This guest creates programs to make a difference. This guest has a heart of gold. Please welcome Mayor Quentin Harden.
Can we all stand, please? Please. Woo! And before we come, we have a very special surprise for him. Jamarcus is also he graduated from 5th grade here at Dr. Walter Cunningham, and he has a tribute. He drove all night long, got here at 3 o'clock this morning, so he wants to give a musical tribute to Mayor Hart.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Evans, for that selection. Wonderful, wonderful tribute. I'd like to thank you so much. I am excited today. Can we just get excited? You know, I have to give a special thanks to Dr. Jane Lindeman as well, Principal Evans, Tara Thomas as well, and all the Cunningham staff that worked so hard to help put things together today. It's an absolute honor and a blessing to be here before you. But last but not least, I have to ask you all to give a round of applause to the Cunningham students, please. When I first came through the door, I had a water bottle in my hand, and I reached out to give a fist bump to one of the young people at the door, and he reached out his hand to shake my hand professionally. So they're on point today, and and my two sons up here, Quentin Jr., who gave a brief introduction, and Quindin, my youngest son. I was hoping I'd see my daughter Halea today, but she is somewhere across this city making herself known. I also like to give a shout out to my wife, Cassandra Hart, Lowell Elementary lead teacher, so she's here. So we appreciate her, my in-laws, Mr. and Mrs. Willie and Viola Cody, and my father on the end, Mr. Grossi Hart, who has pushed me over the years. We'll talk about that later, but he made sure I was in the right place where I needed to be. And just so many friends, former city councilwoman Willa Mae Wright is in the audience as well. Are there any other? I see Ron Welper, Mayor Pro Tem, Pat Morrissey as well. Is there any other elected officials that are in the audience today? Supervisor Frank Magnuson as well. So, you know, thank you all for being here. And also wanted to give a shout out as well. I don't know how many of you actually know Mayor Jim Brown, new mayor for the city of Cedar Falls. This is unprecedented, but he has been, you know, I know there's politics, you meet a lot of friends and people through politics and they become that, but he and I have developed a relationship that exceeds political office, has a wonderful family. He is a wonderful mayor for the city of Cedar Falls, and I am blessed to know him and to get to know him better. And a couple weeks ago, it was kind of funny. Pat Kenny from the Courier put out a challenge, and that challenge was in regards to the polar plunge. And so probably about a day or two before the actual event, Mayor Brown said that he would be there. And if you're not familiar, it happened to be the coldest day that they've ever done a polar plunge in George with. And so as I jumped in the water, I was freezing, and Mayor Brown was out trying to swim or do something, but I don't see how he did it, because when I walked back out of the water, it felt like my legs were going to lock up. So we appreciate his willingness to serve and for being here as well. And we also have Steve Dust in the audience today, our executive director of the Greater Cedar Valley Alliance. So thank you for being here also. And I also like to acknowledge our city staff in the audience as well. You guys have no idea how hard they work on a daily basis, and it's kind of become like my new family over the course of the last 129 days, not that I'm counting, but have become like a family, and they're determined, they're poised, and they're working hard to make a difference in the lives of all of you on a daily basis. But one of the questions that I was asked when we put everything together, and that was, out of all the places for you to hold an event, you know, why not the 5 Sullivan Brothers, which would be a great venue? Why not at City Hall, which would be another great venue? The question was, Why Dr. Walter Cunningham School? And one of the reasons could have been the fact that I grew up around the corner at 1019 Beach Street, lived there the majority of my life before moving to Hope Avenue. Another reason could possibly be so I can come here and keep an eye on my sons because they know I frequent the schools all the time. They're not laughing. But primarily the real reason is that we can never lose focus on what matters most. We must never forget that all of our youth matter. Their life matters, their education matters, and their success is critical to our future. Every decision that we make at the mayor's office and within the city, I pray that it's having a positive impact on their lives. And realizing our full potential only comes when the collective understand that we are stronger than we are divided. We are stronger when we can put aside our personal political aspirations and walk into the togetherness of progress. And that is until we understand that importance and the need for consensus, then some parts of us will suffer from the cancer of divisiveness. But I'm here to tell you, the Cedar Valley is strong. Our community is strong. Our economy is growing. And our staff are poised to meet the challenges that we face. But we have to understand, first and foremost, and it's something that I realized over the course of the campaign trail, and something that I'm starting to realize even more so in this very hour, is that every negative comment that we speak about our young people, about our community, whether we're in the kitchen having conversations or looking at Facebook posts or letters to the editors, newscasts, all of those things have an impact on what we think about our city. And every conversation that we have about our city has an impact on our ability to be able to recruit and attract business. It also has an impact because we always take a look at why aren't more young people coming to the community? And they are. We're growing by leaps and bounds with regards to our age demographics. But we have to watch the way that we talk about our community. Our young people at Cunningham are listening to what we're saying. At Kingsley, they're listening to what we're saying. And our community has so much to offer everyone. And so that's why today is somewhat historic and it's so very important to this community. And it's not just because you get to spend about the next 15 minutes listening to me talk, but it's giving an actual view of the city of Waterloo without rose-colored glasses, and not because I happen to live on a glass house on a hill. But today is a real look from whence we come, where we are, and where our future can take us. See, our Waterloo, as I like to call it, or as KWL states, I think I've heard Water Love, has seen the turbulent times of the 80s, been through the tough times of the 90s, seen the time of change and recreation in the 2000s, and the renaissance of 2005, and now we are in the progress now of 2016 with an opportunity for us to be able to shatter all expectations. And interestingly enough, the very building in which we sit in, that we're assembled here today, is named after a great American, Dr. Walter Cunningham. And there's some valuable principles that we can learn from his legacy. You see, Dr. Cunningham never became distracted from what his goals were. He never became distracted based upon the outside voices that were trying to limit his potential. He never succumbed to the limitations that others may have tried to place on the circumstances. His philosophy was pure, that regardless of who you are, white, black, brown, rich, poor, south side, north side, is that you have value and that you have something to offer and that you matter to this community and to this world. And these simple, powerful lessons or thoughts from his legacy is how I've tried to approach the first 100 days on this job. See, we have been bold in our approach, and we have been moving and hopefully moving from maybe we can get this done to we have to get this done attitude. And during those first 100 days, we have successfully restructured standing committees for the city. We've changed around council appointments for various opportunities. We've worked with the city council over the first 3 months to reduce our tax levy rates by over 15 cents with almost a 0% tax asking if you don't include the grout levy portion. And we've been able to do all of this without having a major impact on staffing levels. I've also had the unique opportunity as mayor to visit almost all of the schools within Waterloo and even surrounding communities, held monthly chats in senior housing facilities, added prayer to the council meetings, forged relationships with surrounding communities such as Cedar Falls and Waverly, and that came through mutual respect and real support. Economic development was part of the cornerstone of our campaign because our growth is important. See, Waterloo can never have enough good-paying jobs and industries to provide opportunities for our residents. And I have proposed and pledged to a lot of you that I would try to be one of the most aggressive mayors with creating economic opportunities that we could possibly have. And I've also worked with staff currently to help restructure our planning department, where we added an economic development specialist position that focuses primarily on business recruitment, outreach, and retention. Because our goal is to grow the tax base and move towards being a more friendly business climate. And just a really quick example, and I know Noel is going to love this example, but when we take a look at 2014, in the months of January and February, I think we had about $5.5 million with regards to building permits or evaluation. 2015, we were looking at $6.5 million. But in 2016, we have been blessed to see over $24 million for that same category. And this tells me that our chamber, that our staff, that our business community are working to make a difference, and that they believe and that people believe in the city of Waterloo. One other question that I was asked during the campaign trail is, what is happening with University Avenue? I don't know if you grabbed a cup of coffee and you drove down the road without the lid on the top of it and felt how bumpy the road was. But if you have, you understand that University Avenue needed to have some change. Our sister city, Cedar Falls, was moving forward with a tremendous project that we're excited about as well. But ours had kind of staggered for the most part. So I wrote a letter to the DOT with the help of staff and asked the DOT, hey, what's happening with University Avenue? And we were so fortunate, they reached out back to us, the city, and we had multiple conversations, a little bit back and forth about University Avenue corridor, and we're proud to report, hopefully within the next month or two, a proposal will be coming forth for us to take over University Avenue for its redevelopment. Safety was another important part of communities' concerns, and we had worked closely with our law enforcement, with Chief Dan Troca. Is he in the audience? Dan, would you raise your hand? Yes. But a challenge was placed on staff to first work with some of our emergency management planning to make sure that in order of any incident or anything that takes place, whether nature or tragedy, that we will be on the pathway to being able to respond. But when we take a look at crime overall for the last 5 years, I have to get this point across to everyone. Waterloo's crime rate has dropped nearly 20% over the last 5 years. Now, of course, thank you, that is something to applaud. The unfortunate part, I had to get the applause first, the unfortunate part is that we have seen spikes in a couple different areas. And a bullet and shootings are one area that has absolutely concerned this entire community and have gripped us at times. And so those shootings levels are a challenge. But our very own police department has put together an effort to work with the 6 pillars that have been identified by President Obama's task force for policing. And pillar number 1 focuses on building trust and legitimacy. Pillar number 2 is policy and oversight. Pillar number 3 is technology and social media. Pillar number 4 is community policing and crime reduction. Pillar number 5 is training and continuous education. And pillar number 6 focuses on wellness and safety. And so our police department continues to work hard to deal with some of the challenges that we are seeing every day. And we've also been reaching out to different stakeholders within the community to talk about our ability to partner and move forward together to deal with our challenges. And one thing that I've always said, even prior to being elected, is that it's not the sole responsibility of the police department to deal with all the challenges that we faced. And so we're taking a look at So our police department has been engaged in conversations with stakeholders, with Waterloo Community Schools, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and you and I, with the hopes of one day in implementing a Mentors in Violence Prevention program. We've also taken a look at putting together a summer youth job program so that we can have an impact and help our young people to be employable, to take on some of those jobs that we've been hearing about being vacant. And so that's are a couple of the areas that we've been working on. Another area that's important to our community is neighborhood empowerment. You've heard about it. And we began dialoguing with neighborhood leaders to try to figure out how can we jumpstart our neighborhood programs again? How can we get that fire back? How can we get things lit? Because our neighborhoods have an impact on the success of our community. I remember when I was younger where I can walk across the street and meet Mrs. Kincaid, but I knew my neighbors, my family knew our neighbors, and our neighbors knew when their children came over to play at our house that they were safe. But it's trying to get that neighborhood feeling back by helping them to be able to empower themselves. And within the next couple of months, we are going to launch a neighborhood redevelopment initiative where we are going to set some goals. And one of those goals would be a 90% reduction in all current dilapidated houses that we see within our community that can't be rehabbed. And where's Councilman Morrissey? I said that can't be rehabbed. We will also work to take those unbuildable lots that we removed, the smaller ones, and put those back in the hands of the abutting property owners. We will work to redevelop some of the houses by changing the way that we do our incentivizing for fixing up your homes as well. But I think that if we want change and neighborhood revitalization, then we must be bold in our actions and aggressive in our approach. And in the year 2016, no one child or no person should have to walk past some of these abandoned properties on their way to school or to a park. Another area that's so highly important is focused around positive community image. And what we wanted to do is make sure that we can be as transparent as possible. So this past year during our budget process over the course of 3 months that I mentioned a little bit earlier, we have televised every budget meeting. We've counted every line item and placed them on the website so that our citizens can see exactly where we are spending their monies. We had all conversations, and even at this point, we're continuing to have budget discussions so that we can be ready for next year. We've had challenges with the EPA that we've had to take a look at and to address. And citizens had questions about where we were at in those regards. So now we do quarterly reports that are placed on television. And also we provide a summary of those reports that are on our website so people can understand where we're at in that process. We've also been engaged in some not so popular legal issues, and for as much as we can, we try to provide at least quarterly or every 6 months give some type of updates to those types of struggles. We will launch a mayor show this month as well. Not that you're not tired of seeing me in the newspapers. We also are working right now for a new website, hopefully to launch by the end of this year or the beginning of next year, that will be more user-friendly, more informative, and help to engage you a little bit more of what's taking place within our city. We are working on our printed materials and putting polishes together and talking about our economic development efforts. I've been having regular spots on KBBG, KBOL, KWWL, KXEL, and other forms of social media so that we can make sure that you know what's happening in your city. But last but not least, we are seeing growth from every corridor, and we are hearing of interest, not just locally, but we are hearing of interest about people wanting to come to the Cedar Valley and to the city of Waterloo internationally. We are poised, we are strong, and we are Waterloo. From Ridgeway Avenue to Logan Plaza, to San Martin to Martin Road, growth is evident. Progress and change are a reality, but we have to embrace our destiny and realize that we are the difference makers. Our diversity is our strength, our work ethic will push us forward, and our faith mixed with determination would help us launch this area to new heights for the future. We are a community that understands that nothing runs like a deer, and we are going to stick together like 5 Sullivan brothers. We are that community that did meet those challenges of the 80s, fought the trials we faced in the 90s, retooled our city for the 2000s, and we are stepping into 2016 with swag, with confidence, with swag, with confidence, and a renewed sense of self with strength. Henry Ford stated it the best, and he stated that coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. God bless the Cedar Valley, God bless Waterloo, and God bless our communities. Thank you.
Let's give it up one more time. Woo! All right. Again, the Dr. Walter Cunningham staff, students, and Waterloo Community School Districts, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming. And we just appreciate your enthusiasm. And thank you again. Come on, one more time.